So just shout out to Drigas. But we got Dakota in the waiting room. Let's go to him. We'll go back to UFC 305. Dude, this is someone that we've been in that circle for a long time. Very good friends with the Dawsons. You know how much we absolutely love and adore L. And then, of course, we are huge Grant Dawson people here in Fight Bananas. So let's get Mr. Dakota Bush here for the very first time in Fight Bananas land. Dakota, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
Going good, my man. How are you?
Feeling great, man. Just got done out of the gym. A little light sparring today. No injuries. Good, quick, clean fight. So I'm just back at it.
Wait. So you get a first round win. You're back at it already. You're back at it. ATT just doing work.
Just doing work.
That's how it's done. That's how champs get it done, man.
That's a savage right there, bro. That's a savage, man.
So you fought on Friday, right?
Correct.
And it looks like you defended your title?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was that your first defense?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So how did that compare to like winning it and then having to defend it?
It didn't feel any different to me. Just another fight, honestly. Being prepared in the best room in the world, honestly, just making the walk was so much, it was my first like true full camp at ATT, a full 8-10 weeks here. And just everything lined up. Like me and Grant all week were like, the flights were smooth. The weight cut was hands down the easiest weight cut I ever had. Recovery was even better. We're just waiting for something to go wrong. God forbid it's the fight. And it was a smooth fight. I mean, it was just, I think it's a testament of all the hard work and the preparation that's done here at ATT.
One thing that I love that Maddie's husband used to say, Ross Levine, Karate Combat World Champion. I loved it. And he actually just posted it because Duplessis just used to say it. He never said he defended the title. Like there was something about defense and defending it. Something about like, I'm going to fight for the world champion again. Did you have that mindset at all? Or do you actually like the, hey, no, this is mine. I'm going to defend it. Something about like your home, you're defending your home. Do you have that mindset of defending the championship or kind of winning the championship again?
For me, as a goal-wise, I want to be back in the UFC. That's my number one goal, what I'm chasing. So that was just a step to get back for me. And that's how I was just visualizing it is, let's just string together a great performance, worry about that, worry about my effort and my attitude, and everything else will take care of itself.
I got one, and then Maddie, you can jump on the next. Do you think this is that performance to get you there? Do you first round rear naked choke, a high level fighter? I think this is 5 in a row. If I'm not wrong, I'm sorry. Correct. I do think it's 5. Do you think this is it? Is this that fight?
I think so. I really think so. Was speaking with management today and yesterday about it, and we're just trying to get our hands on the video and, send that over to Sean and the guys, and just hoping, that's going to be able to put me at the top of the list for a short notice or whatever pops up.
Yeah, I mean, you had a little run in the UFC and it didn't go your way. So now we're on the rebuild process. 5 fights in a row. That's pretty solid. What do you think has changed the most since your last run with the UFC and your potential new one? How much have you evolved, you think?
Night and day. It's just the everyone says it, but the maturity, just understanding that 15 minutes is a long time. You don't have to get guys out of there in the first 2 minutes. And I felt like I was always like that, in my UFC fights. I'm like looking for the finish instead of, letting the finishes come to me. And I think just being here, in the room with the highest level, especially at 55ers, this is the deepest gym in the world for 55ers. And
insane.
Just knowing that I compete with these guys on a daily basis and, they understand and they know that I belong in the UFC. It's just, we need the guys in the UFC to realize that as well.
Who was in your corner this weekend?
Grant was, and then my coach back home, Patrick Smith.
Nice. What's Grant like in the corner? Dying to know.
That guy's pretty cool. I like that guy.
He's amazing. He's so calm. Me and Grant, we know each other so well.
That's awesome.
We've trained together for years, and just the lingo, our game styles, like our game plans, our fight styles are super similar. And Grant understands like everything I'm going to do and vice versa. So he just gives me the key things I need to hear, and he's calm in the corner. It's not like yelling and barking at
Yeah.
you. It's
I
just
feel like he would be such a matter of fact kind of guy. Like, all right, listen up. Here's what you gotta do.
exactly like I remember this past fight. Just I threw a lead leg head kick, and he's like, both feet on the ground. We're not throwing anything unless it's a low rider, which is a calf kick.
Right.
And it was working perfectly. Like he sees things, and he's so analytical, and he's
Yeah.
such a high fight IQ that he translates it well into the corner.
That's awesome.
I know Grant's a big McDonald's guy. Say something else to the audience. You know, you got a lot of time with Grant if it's in the gym or outside the gym and traveling. There's nothing like traveling with someone. I've traveled with his husband Elle lately a lot. There's nothing like traveling. You know, there's just little things and ticks of things you do that you wouldn't have, right? What is something
Nuances.
about Grant that the masses doesn't know? You're like, oh, this is a good one. This is something about Grant Dawson that maybe the mass doesn't know about it.
Yeah, you hit it. The McDonald's for sure.
Okay.
That's one.
He loves it. He's
He
like
does.
a freak about it.
He's a McDonald's guy, Jack's Pizza, and zebra cakes.
Zebra
cakes. I didn't know
cakes.
that.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
his go-to.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't even know those were still a thing.
Dude, how did, and he makes, here's another, here's a grandism. I was just with, I just stayed with him 2 weeks ago. I don't know how he makes 155. Grant is humongous in the best way possible. He's so big. People don't realize like how big his shoulders is, how thick and wide he is. Dude, Grant's a big guy. Like he's big.
Yes, he's just like I put it in words all the time is he's dense. Like he's just
yeah. I agree.
He's not fat, he's not out of shape. He's just a dense guy. And we walk around very similar. It's just in the room it's crazy when you feel him on you. It's a different presence than you can explain than anybody in the room. He's like one of them those weighted blankets, you know, you just can't get them off.
God, that's like my worst nightmare. Oh my God. So it sounds like zebra cakes is a guilty pleasure for Grant, but what about you? What is your guilty pleasure?
You know, Oreos probably. I love Oreos.
Wait, single or double?
I like the double stuff, but you can't go wrong with the OGs.
Absolutely not. Double or nothing. Double or nothing every time.
No.
Every
single.
time.
A ridge.
Get out of here with that noise.
I'm more of a, you know, it's like a nostalgia thing. So like the Halloween ones, even though they're flavored the same, but the orange cream, it's something different.
Oh God, that hits. That's right around the corner, guys.
It is.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Well, all right. Let's get us back on, dude. This is fun. We can talk about food all day long too. You just fought. You just got the weight cut, so we can go.
He said double.
Yeah, man, I'm a single guy. Because I like a lot of milk. I'm like 75% milk, 25% cookie. So that's, all right. That's
last thing on the Oreo, and we'll move on. When I'm feeling like real fat, you know what you can do? Take the Oreos, just crunch that shit up, throw it on some vanilla ice cream.
Oh,
amazing. Amazing.
Home
run. All right, continue.
All right. I was gonna say, Dakota. So if you keep the weight down, and I know if the UFC is the goal, I love the Contender Series. Huge Contender Series guy. If they offered you a Contender Series, would you take it, or do you think you're above the Contender Series and you're kind of waiting for that short notice UFC fight, or even a full camp UFC fight, kind of a 4-fight deal, 2-fight deal?
Right. Obviously, that's what we would want.
Yeah.
But if they call for the Contender Series and it's a great matchup, and I'm for it. I truly don't think they want me on the Contender Series just because I guess I feel like I'm a prospect killer, you know. They don't want the up and coming guys to have to fight a vet necessarily. And I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think a UFC vet's ever fought on the Contender Series previously yet. So
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if they called, I would definitely hop on.
Dakota, can we talk about this? Can we talk about your fight name, Harry? Can we?
We can.
Can we? What? Why?
So there's a little backstory behind it too.
Okay.
My grandpa and my uncle, their names are Harold.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they would be called Harry Bush. And when I was a kid growing up, my uncle's friends giving me crap, like they call me Little Harry, and it kind of rang, growing up. I never would have used it as a nickname. And then fighting, my first nickname I ever used, honestly, was George W. That was the first one I used.
That's good.
That's great.
That is
That's
good.
great. All right, now that I know it's like a family thing, that's
Yeah.
cool.
No, I'm cool with it. Dude, did you so Charles Bennett, I was just at Island Fights 2 weeks ago, and Charles Bennett just got his first win in a long time. Long time.
Right.
And did you see his Instagram handle? And Fight as Jonathan posted about his Instagram handle. It is not okay for kids to hear.
It is not safe for work.
Yeah, it
Right.
is not safe for work. It's about a female hair down there.
Right.
It is pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Yeah, I seen someone interviewing him too, post fight.
Yeah.
And the guy's wild. He's just
wild.
he's a
He
menace
really
to
is.
the fight game.
He really is.
He is wild. It's
Oh my God.
he after so he kind of warmed up in the ring, and I was kind of getting my stuff ready, kind of getting locked in a little bit and whatever. He comes to me, he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna throw that jab out there pretty good tonight." I'm like, "All right, Charles, sounds good." And he's like, "Let the people know." I'm like, "Sounds good, brother. Sounds good." He just kept on going. And I was like, "All right." I just thought it was so funny, how he said it too. It's just so that's what he was gonna do.
Yeah, matter of fact.
Let the jab go early.
So matter of fact.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, Dakota, congrats on so that was your first title defense, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So congrats on the first title defense. So now it sounds like we're just kind of in the waiting game right now, right?
Yeah. It's the worst part, the lingo between. But I'm in a good spot. I feel like really the past 4 fights, they all went to decision. And, I was still waiting, hopefully. But now I feel in a much better place to know that I got a good finish over a very tough opponent. And,
yeah, that kid was good.
That's awesome.
It feels a little different this time, Maybe it's not, but to me it does. But we're looking, to get something else on the books probably around November. Just in case it doesn't call, I have something to be ready for, just keep on knocking on the door.
I love it, man. I
like
love it.
that.
Well, as soon as you do get the good news, give us a call and we'll talk again.
Oh, a little slide into those DMs, Dakota. Slide into the DMs. We'll get the artwork for you. We got you. Now, Rook, I want to pick your brain on something for sure. I thought it was the fight of the night. It was one of my favorite fights in the last 2, 3, 4 months. I loved it since probably Max and Gaethje. Talking about Gamrot and Hooker. Incredible fight. Awesome fight back and forth. Felt like Gamrot was winning the beginning of the fight, started to slide. And also, Dan Hooker's just like a different guy right now. He's like,
He really is.
Here's my analogy is Dan Hooker's pulling the Charles Oliveira. He's just different. He's going into these firefights and he's become a different man and he feels good about it. It's so weird. Where did you watch it? I know you were kind of fighting on Friday. Did you watch it live? How did you feel about the fight?
Yeah, me and Grant watched it, and same thing. I thought the beginning of the fight was great. I think it changed when Gamrot got dropped. I think it was towards the end of the first round.
Yeah.
And I think he could never really, get his wheels back under him.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, like you said, Dan Hooker I remember, I don't know if it was between the first and second or second and third, he's sitting on the stool and he was loving it.
Oh,
and I looked at Grant, I'm like, that's scary. When a guy just went through the fire and he's there and he's not going away. But yeah, it was
he
a
was
phenomenal
laughing
fight.
in enjoyment.
You remind me of the Joker. The Joker. He's getting punched by Batman. He's kind of laughing about it. You reminded me of the Joker. I'm like, dude, how can you fight this guy? How can you punch this guy? It's wild. He's the 5th ranked lightweight right now. It's wild. I felt like people gave up on Dan Hooker 18 months ago in a way, and now he's back. He's in the mix. He's in the mix.
Totally.
Like you said, me and Graham were talking. They throw him in, let's say Gaethje or somebody next, and shoot, he could be he goes out there and puts a great fight on, finishes someone. He could be fighting for the belt next. You never know in this division. It's so crazy, and with Gamrot losing, that kind of sets it at idle a bit because, you know, if Gamrot would have went out there and beat Hooker, he could have been fighting Armin for the interim belt or something, you know. You just never know. It's crazy how this division pans out on just one fight.
Yeah.
The fight I want to see, and I think you're going to agree with me completely, Dakota. So Dan was ranked 11th, 12. Dude, every lightweight, 10 through 17 are monsters, complete monsters. So Dan, someone had to give him that opportunity, and he won, moved up to 5. So I would love if Dan would give up someone that opportunity. Our dear friend Grant's fighting like in 7 weeks. Grant's going to hot knife butter, gets a second round TKO. Then we see Grant and Hooker back in February, Sydney, Australia.
Woo!
That's the fight.
I'm here for it. That's a great matchup.
I'm here for that.
Matchmaking, commentary. I do it all, Maddie. I do it all.
Yeah, you're just a man of many talents. Thank God you're not the fighter, though.
That is true.
God.
That is true. Did you see my brother surprise me? I jumped like a cat.
I love it. I love it.
Crazy, crazy. I was going to say, Dakota, any last things? Anything else you want to say? Any sponsors you want to shout out? Any family members you want to thank? Is there a girlfriend from high school you want to say, hey, I'm better than you now? Anything else you want to say?
Look at me now.
There's this one girl, right? No. Yeah, just, I can't thank everyone at ATT enough. All the coaches and training partners, just they truly, make the ships sail smoothly when it comes to fight week and the preparation. And my wife, she holds down the fort with our 2 kids while I'm gone, and it's she probably sacrifices more than I do. So I'm super grateful for her, and just on to the next. Hopefully it's in the big boy stage somewhere. Hopefully in the next week or 2, whenever I'm ready to jump in.
Let's go. Well, definitely let us know when you get the good news. And Dakota, it's always nice to chat. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Hey, you're the man, Dakota. We'll talk soon, all right, brother?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Dakota Bush. First time on the show. I love it.
Love it. That's so exciting when you have that